It's tax season. Is your business ready for tax season? Have you gathered all your documents, or are you the type of person that's like probably missing out on some money or maybe even overpaying your taxes? Well, this episode is for you because today I have live our sponsor from the Aligned Businesswoman Circle, GF Management, and they take care of your bookkeeping and payroll services. So keep on listening. Hey, your next level of expansion is here. And you're not going to accomplish it through hustle and grind. Oh no, not you. You allow ease and flow to come through you so that you can manifest the business of your dreams. Welcome to the Aligned Businesswoman podcast, where you get to be in flow and allow your strategic CEO to meet your inner goddess. This is the podcast for female entrepreneurs who want to strengthen their intuition muscle while applying simple and practical business growth strategies to accelerate. We'll combine energetics and strategy along with human design and your gene keys to optimize your business performance and results. Welcome to another episode of the Aligned Businesswoman. Vanessa here. Today, I have a special guest because not only is she part of GF Management, which is our innovation partner for the Aligned Businesswoman Circle, Vision Boards, and Goal Mapping Conference. Well, that is a mouthful. I have to take a breath there. But she's also my cousin. How cool is that? So Anna De La Garza is here, and she's going to be sharing about GF Management and what they do and their mission behind everything that they do and why you should come meet them at the event and maybe even hire them as your bookkeeper. So welcome, Anna. Thank you for being here.
Hi, it was nice being here. We're just kind of a roundabout accounting company. We do basically any kind of bookkeeping. We work mostly with small to medium-sized businesses, so obviously we're not going to work with larger businesses. But we have a ton of experience, and I think that's what kind of sets us apart. Is it makes us, my mom has been doing accounting since I don't even know for a very long time,
and it runs in the family.
Yeah, it does. It just runs in the family. We've just been doing it forever. My sister's part of it. My stepsisters are part of it as well. So it's definitely very much a family business, and we're very much involved with our clients. We're always there. We're always going to, answer the phone and respond to texts as soon as possible. We're going to be on top of everything. We kind of can do everything. We can do invoicing. We can do collections if need be. We do focus mainly on reconciling your accounts, making sure everything is up to date the way it needs to be. We do prepare taxes as well, so that definitely helps. That way it's one transition, so it's not like two different bookkeepers for, two different accountants for it. We can do all of it in-house. So, and we come to you. So, that everyone loves that. We go to your company, we'll pick up paperwork if we need to. We can, meet over the phone, over Zoom, whatever, everyone is most comfortable with.
Awesome. So yes, it is a family-owned business, and I love that. I love that all of your 100 million sisters are a part of the company. So just a quick backstory. My aunt who runs the business, who is Anna's mom, she has y'all have about all seven girls, right? 8, including stepsister,
yes,
right?
7 girls.
Mm-hmm. 7 girls. There's so many of them. So, so they all come together and support each other. They're just, I don't know. I just love how tight-knit they are. And 3 of them, is it 3 or just 2, you and Patricia, Patty, that work with your mom?
It's me and Patricia. And then we actually have Martha's boyfriend working for us. Oh, cool. So that's different. And then my 2 stepsisters, my mom just remarried. So they're actually in it as well now, helping out. So they're, getting the hang of everything. And it's kind of nice that, it's something that both sides are on now.
That's great. Because so Yolanda has been very passionate about this because our grandmother actually was a bookkeeper, and she passes this expertise and this knowledge down to the family. And so this has really been, I guess you could say, like in the Garza blood, to be able to be smart and savvy with numbers. And, tell me a little bit about the type of ideal client that you work with. Like, who is the business owner that you best support, or is it more of a corporation?
Medium. It's when you're getting to that size where you're just a little bit too big to do it in-house and you're ready for someone else to kind of take the reins. Because sometimes, when they're smaller businesses, there's not very much for us to do because they kind of take care of everything themselves. And then larger businesses, it's almost too much for us to handle. Like they want us to do every single tiny thing, and we don't do every single tiny thing. We do as much as we can, but we do like to draw the line somewhere. So yeah, so somewhere in between where you're in that emerging business area is what we're looking for. Someone that's looking for a little bit more guidance than what they've been doing. We have come across a lot of clients where their books weren't being kept correctly because, it was small in-house mom and pop, and we go in and we find a bunch of errors, things that weren't being tracked properly. If you see, if you're looking at your balance sheet and you see negatives in your liabilities, that's going to be wrong. You're going to want to get those fixed. And that's some kind of thing we see pretty often is so we'll have to go in. And like I said, I specialize in cleaning up the books. So I'll usually go in first, see what's missing or what's wrong or what was, entered incorrectly. And we'll clean up to a year or two, depending on when you did your taxes last. We'll clean it up and get it. And then from there, we'll keep track of it and reconcile it, depending on the size of your company, either monthly or quarterly or so.
What would you say for that person that is starting out in their business, but they're not going to stay small? They have a strategy to scale, because I foresee that a lot of the people that are going to be attending the conference or the circle, that they're going to be in that growth stage where they may not need someone right now, but at the same time, they don't want to. It's going to be a hard transition to go from like doing things yourself and organizing it the way that that is organized, maybe like chaotic organization, and then handing it off to a firm like your company. So what would you say is something that they can prepare before they start needing someone like you so that it's a smooth transition into hiring GF management?
Yeah, I see that actually pretty often. And the thing is, a lot of times they'll end up having to change the way they're recording things because when they were smaller, like if it's one location, it wasn't very hard to track. And then now that they have multiple locations or different things that they want to track, now they're trying to backtrack and, redo half a year's worth of books. So you kind of want to look forward at where you're going. You want to know which direction you're going. Am I going to have multiple locations? Am I trying to track different types of services? And you want to get all that set up and in the beginning so that you start recording it from the get-go. And when you're ready to, as you're growing, you're already capturing that information the way you want it. Because, once it's, halfway through the year and you're like, well, I wish I had done it this way at the beginning of the year. Now we're going back and changing half a year's worth of books to get you the information that you want. You always want to look at your reports and you want to see, what do I want to know from my reports? And that's how you want to set up your accounts. You set up your accounts a certain way. Most people use QuickBooks Online. There's different classes that you can use. There's different classifications for things. There's a lot of different ways to organize things. And we can help with that as well. If you just want like an hour or two session for someone to help you get that set up, we can do that. If you don't need us for a full service, we're happy to help you get set up and get into the direction that you want to be so that you have everything recording properly from the beginning. So that's really, you kind of want to picture it in your mind what information you're going to want to know later. It's kind of hard because you have to kind of predict. But
That's great. And I'm glad that you brought that up about the one-off sessions, because when people attend the circle, not only are they going to be able to meet you, you guys are going to have a table there, you're going to be presenting something, maybe just do a quick training. I'm not quite sure what y'all are going to surprise us with, but they also get a free consultation with you. Plus they get a discount. Can you tell us a little bit about those two different options that they can have to work with you further after they attend the event?
Well, of course, the first one is just $100 off their book cleanup, because like I said, I do see a lot of people come in that they've been tracking something wrong, or they've been recording something wrong. Their books are just totally out of whack. Like their bank account doesn't match what it is in their books. And so those people are definitely going to need a cleanup. So that $100 off a cleanup is really going to help them, because it's going to get everything, help them get closer to where they need to be current on everything. Other people who've been tracking everything just fine, taxing up, we figured, how about 5% off your income tax filing, because who doesn't want a discount on tax filing, because it's been getting higher and higher every year. So.
Yeah, it gets pretty expensive. I remember like last year, I think it was, we paid several $100s. I'm like, what? Oh my gosh, this is very expensive. So that's good to know. We'll have to let you know. And the book cleanup part, I can only imagine how much sense of relief and just like that clarity, or just kind of like, when we have a long to-do list and it's like in our head versus like on paper, that just right there, the book cleanup is just going to alleviate so much stress from our brains. Do you recommend that they do this at any certain time? So let's say someone is not in a position right now to do the book cleanup, but is it kind of like one of those things where you can do it almost anytime and you're going to be benefiting from it no matter what?
The sooner you do it, the better, especially right now that it's about to be tax season. This is the ideal time that people try to get it done right away, because they're like, now I need the whole year fixed. I need to know exactly where I'm at, because your numbers are just not reliable. So you really want to make sure that when you file your taxes, you're filing with reliable numbers. You don't want to overpay or, understate something, because then they'll come back later with an audit or something. You want to make sure you're putting in the most accurate information you have possible. So especially right now, since it's about to be tax season again, the sooner you get it done, the better. So.
Great. And I'm glad that you said that you don't want to overpay or you don't want to get audited, because I know that sometimes as a small business owner, we think, oh, well, I'm not making that much. Or maybe I'm writing off a lot of things. I'm spending more than I'm making because I have a lot of expenses. What would you say to someone that might be thinking that way? Like, maybe you are, missing out on money, or what are the other things that they probably could be missing out on, or, maybe even almost they might get in trouble for if they don't do these things?
Well, I've seen a couple of different things. One thing I do see is, because you're the owner, it is your business. A lot of times you're spending money out of pocket and not properly recording it. You want to make sure you're recording that. You want to capture the money that you've spent personally. So, those have to go in as an expense, and it's going to, instead of coming out of your bank account, it's going to go towards your company equity. So that shows that you're putting money into your company, which is something you want to make sure you're capturing, especially since those are expenses that you can write off. Another issue I see, especially with small companies, is owners tend to just take a draw as opposed to taking a paycheck. I really like to advise that you take a paycheck, because then you're paying throughout the year, paying your taxes throughout the year, as opposed to the end of the year, all of a sudden you've got a whole bunch of taxes due, and then you're, not sure what, you're not sure how you're going to get that covered in time. And then you might pay penalties, interest, and that stuff adds up really fast with the IRS. So I always advise, even if it's a small paycheck, just something to try to, get that out there. Plus, it's going to help lower your company's income tax, because what's going to happen is, when you're showing your own payroll as an expense, it deducts from the company's net income, whereas opposed to taking a shareholder's distribution, you're lowering your equity, but you're actually raising the company's net income that you're going to be taxed on. So that any money you're taking out, you're going to get taxed on sooner or later somewhere. So, the way I see it, even if it's a small paycheck, just take a little bit out at a time. That way you're trying to keep things as level as possible. You don't want to get shocked with your income tax at the end. So,
yeah, it always can get very, at least for me, it's like, okay, make sure that you're keeping everything in bucket A or bucket B, because I do have a corporation set up. And if someone were, again, going back to the scaling part, if they had a small business and they just knew that their projections were saying that they were going to have an X amount of revenue in the next year to 3 years, do you work with someone to help them set up, if they're like a sole proprietor right now, to set up like LLCs or S Corps or C Corps or anything like that?
We can definitely probably help you with the process. Most of that, a lot of people assume that they need a lawyer. I did my own, filled out the paperwork and sent it in. Like, it doesn't really take a lawyer to get an LLC or an S Corp. It's really just a matter of filling out paperwork. So we could probably assist you with that, or we can point you in the direction of someone who can. Because sometimes if it's, if you're going to have like a partnership with somebody else, then it gets more complicated. So then, then you might want to look to getting with somebody else. But if it's something simple, we could probably help with you.
And do you guys only work with people in the Houston area, or do you work outside of the area?
Currently, we're only working with people in the Houston area. Most of us, like I said, are located on the north side, but we do have a lot of clients that are on the south side. So that's why, that's where Zooms or telephone calls or, document sharing apps. I know we have one client that puts everything in I can't even remember what it's called. Oh my gosh, it's not a Google Drive. It's something similar. Dropbox. They put everything in Dropbox. That's what it's called. So, there's a lot of different ways around the location problem. Because Houston is big and going anywhere takes an hour. So,
yeah, well, awesome. Well, thank you so much. And if you guys want to meet Anna and her team, Yolanda and Patricia, then you need to join us for the Aligned Businesswoman Circle. It's on January 11th, and they will be there to answer all of your questions, as well as book a consultation with them so that you can get access to these perks that they're offering you. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your time.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Hi, thank you guys. We'll see you next time on the next episode of the Aligned Businesswoman. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Aligned Businesswoman podcast. I'm your host, Vanessa Ann Miller, and I'm so excited to share some good news with you. Head over to the show notes so you can grab your free gift, and make sure to leave a review and join me inside the Aligned Businesswoman Facebook group. Until next week, bye-bye, my love.